Go.
I was looking at all the different cool lights of the season. For example, we look at these tree lights here. We see they have sort of a warm white color. That means they have this sort of reddish component to the white light. And I compare it to the lights outside here, these icicle lights, and you can see that they're also white lights, but they also have sort of a bluish cast to them, and they're known as cool white colors. And so let's talk a little bit more about cool versus warm colors here. What I have here is an incandescent light, okay, tungsten halogen bulb, and I'm going to turn this on, and this is an incandescent light, and it gets its light by heating up tungsten filaments, and this gets really bright here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to shine it on this white background here, and you can see when I'm at fairly low temperatures, that light has sort of a yellowish or reddish cast. But as I heat up the filament even higher, you can see it moves more and more towards a more pure white color, and if I heated up this even further, it would take on a bluish cast. Okay? And this is the interesting part, is that you may have heard about what we call color temperatures. For example, when we talk about computer monitors and stuff like that. Interesting thing is that color temperatures that are high have more of a bluish cast and are actually considered cool white colors, whereas color temperatures that are lower actually have more of a yellowish or reddish cast, and they're actually considered warm white colors, which seems totally backwards to me. But this is, again, the warm and cool when we talk about white light is our perception. So we'll unpack this a little bit more by moving over to ways of making white light. Here I have using light emitting diodes. Light emitting diodes can make fairly pure colors, and what I have here is one single unit that has multiple light emitting diodes. For example, we have red, we have green, and we have blue. And for a long time, most of the colors that we were able to make involved red and green light emitting diodes. You see, we combine it together, we get sort of a yellowish color. Eventually, we were able to combine in blue and make sort of a whitish colored light. Because if we combine red, green, and blue colored light, we can make white light. Now, we wouldn't be able to get to this point without some knowledge of chemistry and periodic table. People had long known that if you move some of the arsenic and phosphorus out of the light emitting diodes and put in nitrogen with its smaller, more electronegative atoms, then we would be able to get to the blue color of light emitting diodes, but that actually took a while for people to develop technologically. But now we have that technology, and if we go back to that light emitting diode, you can see that by mixing in various amounts of the colors, we can get sort of warmer and cooler white light. Suppose I have, less red and green. You can see that color is more on the bluer side. It's sort of a cooler color. But if I move up the red and green and move down the blue, you can see that it sort of shifts to a yellowish cast, giving us a warmer color of white light. Now again, this is all done by mixing three LEDs in their colors together. There's another way to do this. We can take the blue LED here, and we can use it to excite a yellow phosphorescent material, or yellow fluorescent material, I should say. And that's what we have here in these LED flashlights. What we have, you see that sort of stripe is sort of a yellowish color. That's a fluorescent material. To show you how it fluoresces, what I'm going to do is I'm going to shine a black light or ultraviolet light on it, and you can see I can make that fluorescent material fluoresce, sort of that yellowish cast. Now, if I take a blue or violet laser, you see the bluish light from that laser, okay? If I shine this laser, which also has nitrogen in it to help give it that bluish cast, If I shine that laser onto the fluorescent material, you can see the blue from the laser and the yellow from the fluorescent material combining together to give us this white color. Okay, now of course this LED flashlight has blue LEDs in it, and so when you just turn it on, you can see that you can get a very intense white light, again from the blue LED light combining with the yellow fluorescence. Okay, so let me show you how you can fine-tune that and get different intensities of colors, or different warmth and coolness of color. What I have here are some fluorescent light bulbs, and what I've done is I've cut these open, and if we look inside these fluorescent light bulbs, you can see that there's all sorts of the LEDs inside that plastic housing. And if I take that blue laser and I shine it on the housing for both of these bulbs, they're sort of a blue color, right? But if I shine it on the phosphor inside, I can make that phosphor glow, and you can see that it sort of glows white. Again, it's the blue from the laser combined with the phosphorescent material, the yellow phosphorescent material, making a white light. If I go over here, I can get the same thing, but you'll notice perhaps that that bulb is glowing a little bit more on the orange side. That's because that phosphor has a little bit more intensity in the warm wavelengths, and the bulb appears to be sort of a yellowy color. And in fact, if I turn these on, you can see that this bulb, and maybe it's easier to see in the reflection over here, this bulb's reflection, this bulb has sort of a more cool blue color because it's got that more blue component in it. And this bulb appears to have a warmer white color because it has more yellow in it. Okay, so we can fine-tune what colors these bulbs emit by changing the amount of blue light versus the yellowish light emitted. Okay, so let's go back to our tree light. Go to this bulb over here. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to unplug the tree light. Okay. And so what we have is this LED, this light emitting diode. Again, it's a blue light emitting diode with some phosphorescent material. Now the bulb was out. So what I'm going to do here is I'm shining an ultraviolet light, a black light, on that LED, and you can see the fluorescent material is actually giving off that white light. Now I could also do this with this blue laser, and oops. Blue laser here. You can see that if I shine the blue laser on, I have the blue light from the laser mixing with the fluorescence and giving us white light. So we couldn't do all of this without our great knowledge, without a good knowledge of chemistry. And so when you look at all these holiday lights that you see, make sure you think about chemistry.